signal with doing the back probing, wigged it out and put it into single wire mode. But this was a cool capture because I've heard talk about single wire mode. I'd never caught it on a scope before. And here we actually see it transferring. So even though we induced it, it's a cool picture and it shows you what we mean by single wire mode. It goes from being inverted to both going the same way.
Did you mess up and try to diag that because they're not inverted anymore that you?
Yeah, we knew it was in single wire mode, but we thought since we were originally diagnosing a code, we thought that, hey, both codes were there and single wire was a default to it. We didn't realize that we were causing it. And what was interesting is we were causing it with the scope, because what we did is we eventually, after 20 minutes to half hour, because we're kind of dumb, disconnected the scope, cleared codes, and the code didn't come back. And the code was coming right back when we had the scope hooked up. So after all the wiggle testing, after everything else, because it was kind of wild to be in single wire mode, then to go back to 2-wire and back to single wire. It's like, whoa, there's a connection problem here. We're close. We finally figured out that it was the scope causing it. It didn't like the scope.
Mm.
And that's a good lesson. I mean, it took me a half hour to figure that out because I'm kind of dumb, but fix the original problem and don't worry about the whole single wire thing. We're making it do that. And after we pulled the scope off, the U0019 never reset. And we've been chasing the 1107. So have a nice day. Let me know when the code comes back. So kind of one of those that you waste a lot of time on and don't seem to get anywhere. Now, this next case study has probably the coolest trick in the whole class today. So this is an auction vehicle. So it's had 1 million hands in it. The cluster and windows don't work. Parts have been replaced. Wires have been repaired. We have U code set in the driver's door module, the satellite, sunroof, Parktronics, passenger door module, and occupant restraint controller. So we have just a shopping list here. And when we hook up a scan tool, lots of modules with codes, 2 CAN codes, time to think about checking relationships. We can see there's a lot of active codes, a lot of stored codes. So it's really time to take a look at the topography. And when we look at the topography, we saw that all of the affected modules that were having an issue right now were on CAN B. So, however, there are other modules on the CAN B bus that don't seem to have codes. Is that because they're not talking to the modules that are having the problem? Who knows? So now it's time to develop a plan. The U0019 CAN B circuit is open, very specific is active, and we have a U1019 CAN B plus or CAN B minus open or shorted, not very specific. So we definitely have a network codes here. The codes are in the same codes are in all the modules, directing us to this. When we disconnect it, same codes are coming back. This uses non-permanent resistors, so I can't test for terminating resistance. Networks that still communicate with active fault opens offer a unique opportunity because the only way they can do that is if they use single wire mode normally. So you won't use this trick often, but it's pretty cool. So CAN negative is open, but every module still talks. So therefore, all modules on the whole CAN B network, even the bad part, are talking on CAN positive. All the modules on the good part are talking on CAN positive and negative. Shorting CAN positive to ground forces all the modules on the good part of the network to talk on CAN negative. But now the modules beyond the open can't talk. So the car's fairly torn apart. This is how it came in. Driver's seat, nothing else. It's had help. So monitor the scan tool while shorting the network and recheck topography. In this case, the only module that doesn't talk after we shorted the CAN positive network is the passenger door module. So our problem has to be between the passenger door module and the splice or shorted module. So we started chasing the wiring, and we found here the wiring in the sill was corroded. It had water intrusion, became damaged, and was causing the short. Fixed the wiring, and the network came back to normal.
So you artificially shorted it.
Yep. Artificially shorted, found the wiring schematic. So we knew that we had to be talking on CAN positive with everybody, CAN negative with someone. So do I want to take apart the whole network, or hey, let's short the leg that everyone's talking on and force it to talk on the other leg?
And so it's talking on the other leg. You found the module that wouldn't communicate.
Yeah, find the modules that won't talk. Your problem has to be between there and the modules that are talking.
Okay.
Is that a cool trick?
That's a cool trick.
Like I said, this is probably the coolest thing in the class as far as tricks.
So I think you were really desperate and we're like, okay, we got to do something here.
Well,
Anyway.
no, this was more, I wonder if this will work.
You let the smoke out of the box.
No, actually, you know what? When we were doing this network class and doing the research on it, we shorted a lot of networks. And I was really nervous at first. It was explained to me that he has a credit card, and anything we let the smoke out of, they'll just buy new modules. Cool. Let's start playing. Well, how else do you know?
Well, you go to the junkyard and you short those networks.
Right. So here is a bias-free medium speed CAN. I mentioned this earlier. You can see that one of them sits at 0 volts, the other one sits at 5 volts, and they're still inverted, but they're not inverted from 2.5 going up and down. They're starting at the top and bottom and coming together. Still inverted. Here is a Chrysler B-CAN wake up. What's interesting is it sends out 11.7 volts at sleep, 5 volts awake on the high CAN side. So this is non-bias voltage CAN. I got 0 on one, 5 on the other, but at sleep I got 11 on the high. That's normal. Or yeah, 11.7. Is it good to know that's normal? Yeah, probably before we start condemning things. Here
Can we back up and look at the Chrysler CAN B example? It's got negative 2.5 volts on B negative.
Which one right here?
Yes,
No, it doesn't.
says Chrysler CAN B example.
This is
That's on Hyundai. I don't know. I guess
you might be the scales. Remember, we got the scales left and right, so that throws stuff off sometimes.
Oh, okay, that's why.
Yeah,
I do that all the time with Pico. I read on the wrong scale.
yeah, the scale on the right, the blue, the scale on the left.
He's in black and white.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you can't see it in the book, I guess. That's why.
Yeah, it's hard because they print them in black and white, so it throws. So non-permanent 60 ohm resistor can't be measured. Not sure test resistance. If it passes, it's permanent. If it's infinity, it may be non-permanent. Again, I go back to why do I want to test it? Use a lab scope that tells me I need to go test it. Don't test it and think I've learned something. So this should be a way down the road test. Also, Chrysler has some new rules. So now we're going to use 120 ohm resistor, round numbers, and then we're going to add other modules, each with a resistor in it, and based on the number of modules is going to change the resistance in the circuit. Can you say research to figure out what you're looking at?
How are you going to find that in all data? Type in CAN C resistance.
How about using a lab scope and don't worry about it? Because the lab scope's going to show you have a resistance issue. Then now it's worth the time to go look it up and try to find the information. How many modules do you have? I don't know. I can't talk to it. The wiring schematic gives me everything possible. What do I actually have on the car? But again, this is not about teaching you how to fix it, but letting you know it's out there. Manufacturer specific. So VW, Audi, other Euros use a gateway to find network status. Check coding to see what module the gateway is even looking for. Big issue we have on Euro cars is things don't always get coded, so it never talks to the module. We also have some manufacturer specific protocols. This is UDS protocol. Gee, that sure looks like high-speed CAN. Electrically, it looks identical. It may be saying something different, but it sure looks the same on a lab scope. 2.5 volt bias, high and low. So at that point, does it really make a difference what we call it?
No.
Right. I think that's kind of one of the powers of a lab scope is you can look at things and go, wait a minute. And again, we look at this. This is a normal pattern. It's a mirror. It's a 2-wire pattern going in the opposite direction exactly. Fairly stable bias voltages. This is doing what it's supposed to do. It's following the rules. So how'd you guys like the class today? Did you learn some stuff?
Yes.
To be
Oh,
honest,
yeah.
I learned a lot, but to be honest,
Yeah.
to apply to reality is kind of hard, you know.
In big practice.
You know, and it's hard because we work on cars all day. We fix customers' cars all day. The last thing we want to do is practice with our tools at the end of the day or on the weekend. And we're all guilty of that. And the reality is what we should do, but it's what almost none of us do. I'm fortunate. I've had more time to practice teaching than I ever had time to practice when I was in the shop. I was too busy trying to fix cars.
Yeah, if you do this in the shop, you're gonna, you know,
Well,
you cannot flag the hours. Basically.
do you offer classes for teaching how to use the scopes real
We do
time?
have a class we've done in ATG, a hands-on scope class. That's a good class. And on the ATG website, I put in the chat, send a message to them, say you're interested in the scope class. They get enough interest to go run another scope class.
Yeah, I might be talking to some of my coworkers as well because I mean
Because I
that'd
have
be
a
something
lot
definitely
of
good.
people that are really interested in it, and it's all about we got to have enough people to fill a classroom. We'll run a class.
All right.
So one thing I would add is you only want to learn from Brian. Period. I chased
you
Brian
know-
for a long time, dude. So
Well, the fact that you're saying you're able to mess around, I don't necessarily believe in mistakes because all that stuff is learning. Like it's not a mistake; it's a process of learning. It's the process of learning, growing, involving your skills. So
Exactly.
Or you
that's a
can
great class, Brian.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
on the weekend, you know, you get out of the lab scope and hook it in on 2 channel and keep practices.
You have to. And I mean, I have plenty of weekends. I've brought my lab scopes home from the shop in the trunk. They spent all weekend in the trunk and they went back to the shop on Monday because the best laid plans don't always turn into reality. But I've also learned a lot playing. The lab scope class we do is good because we actually have a little hands-on training board that simulates the whole car. So we're actually going through and showing
that's
some
what we
really
need.
cool stuff on how to really leverage the lab scope. And I know, Daniel, you took that class with me.
Yeah.
Right. And that was
Oh,
the
yeah.
first time I taught it was when you took it. I actually am better now.
Really? I need to take it again.
And
That was your ATG. Oh yeah, we're gonna give this guy a shot. And I had to tell him like, well, you'd be dumb not to keep him. That's all I gotta say.
yeah, no, they've been after Heather's been after me for years. Heather and Tim have been after me for years.
Well, I gotta tell you, I've taken some other ATG online stuff. I thought this was gonna be another. I'm like, there's no way Brian's gonna be able to convey this information from taking the other Zoom classes, other places, and you did a great job, man. So
Well, thank
they
you.
just they just get lost in small talk and chit chat and.
No, and I don't think they're comfortable in it. I did a 3-hour 5-gas seminar webinar And I had people from Canada and people from the East Coast, and I wasn't sure how it's going to go because I had written that class for the California market, and that was the 2015 update, was part of the 2015 update. I wasn't sure how I was going to fly, and I wasn't sure I was going to make it go 3 hours. I barely got through half of it to 2/3 of it in the 3 hours, and we went over. These guys had so many questions, and I've been told for years that people outside of California aren't interested in gas analysis. And these guys were just going nuts on stuff. I mean, they just had not had that kind of training before. And
Well,
I
at the
that had done a lot of webinars, and they were like, "What's the next one you're teaching?"
there's like so much you can do with 5-gas analysis. I mean, it's huge. If you're like, man, I can't fix this car, well, throw it on the 5-gas, see what it's actually doing. You know?
And then apply some rules. Stop trying to adjust the gas numbers. Fix the car. The
Yeah,
bike
yeah, that's what
is
I'm
just
saying.
like a scope.
That's
It's
what
just
I'm saying.
information.
Yeah.
So on that note, I am glad you guys enjoyed it. So the next thing you guys get to do is take a test. And I'm gonna put both of these into the chat here in a minute. But the 5-gas, so you're gonna go to this link, which is where the final is. So the final is gonna be on the website. You're gonna fill out your answer sheet, take a picture, scan whatever your answer sheet, and email it to me at thebeaterjeep@roadrunner.com. I'm going to have you guys stay on with me until you log in to the test. Once you log into the test, you're done putting up with me for the day and you can log off. Once I make sure everyone has gotten into the test, we've gotten over whatever technical issues or whatever, and you're in the test, you're done seeing me for day. I'm going to grade your stuff in the morning. I will send you an email that you're all set. I will send you an email if I didn't get your test. I'll send you an email if I didn't get an email from you. So you will hear from me. And once I get everybody's, I'll send out certificates. It's an open book test. I've not had anybody not pass. All right. So
Any review for the test?
it's open book.
Yeah. Hold on, Brian. Go back.
That's
I get
new.
the email.
Hold on.
That's
hold
new,
on.
Brian. Open book is new. That's never been.
Brian, I don't have your email, Brian.
I'm
Go
getting
back.
it right now. There is the link.
That's the
I'm
link
already
for the
in.
test, right?
Yep. So in the chat, I just put the link for the test, and I just put the. I'll go back to sharing my screen also. And I just put my email both in the chat. So you should be able to click on that link right in the chat, and it should go right to the test page. Also, you can save the chat like I talked to you earlier, and it'll save it to your computer so you guys have this stuff.
Where's I go where it says chat to or where?
Yeah, click on chat and you'll see what I just put in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 2 means you got 2 messages in chat. And I see Tony's back from the hospital, so that was either the express delivery or not yet.
Okay, so it won't erase now, huh? If I log out, huh?
Dude, Brian, the first question is set up, man. Come on. The setup question.
Oh, come on.
Brian, it was a false alarm.
Okay.
Yeah. She broke her tailbone though.
Are you kidding me?
She fell down.
Oh,
Fluids came out, rushed her to the hospital, and she had a broken tailbone, but her water didn't break. So we're a couple of weeks out.
I think she'd almost rather her water broke than her tailbone. That's
Yes,
gonna take a while to heal. Poor
Yes,
thing.
Can you use pencil?
You can use pencil, pen, magic marker, I don't care, because you're sending me a copy of it. So as soon as you're in the test, you can sign off.
So we can exit this right now?
Yep. As soon as you're
Okay.
in the test.
Thank you,
Bye.
Brian.
You bet.
Goodbye.
So for the, this is a fastmodtraining.com.
Fastsmogtraining.com/UT069 final.
Okay.
If you open up the chat, you can just click on it and I'll take you right there.
All right, Brian, I got it all up. Thank you.
Hey,
Appreciate
you
it.
bet. Good seeing you, man.
I mean, you too.
All right, I gotta email you when I'm done, Brian. Thank you, Brian.
You bet. Thank you. Good seeing you.
Good seeing you. See you next 2 years, 2 more years.
All righty.
Why cannot get there?
Brian, thanks for the class.
Yeah. Good seeing you.
Okay.
Is the 35 questions, right?
No, there's 35.
35
Yeah.
questions.
35 questions,
See ya.
140 answers. You just got to match it up.
Oh, okay. I find it.
CIATG, make sure they send out emails when they do those in-person classes,
Yeah, I sure will. I'll tell them that.
Brian.
They're supposed to be. So I know they're sending out them on the webinar. They better be sending it out in person.
Yeah, I let my my license lapse 2019. Yeah, I mean, I was on a job. I couldn't get off. They were like 10, 12-hour days. So
Okay.
so I'm going through all over again. So with Fast Mog, I'm going to have to, I'll see you up there. I guess Escondido is where it's at.
Yeah, Rich is doing it up there.
Oh, Rich is okay. I'll see Rich. I got to do everything
More than
new.
a year, huh?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because if it's been less than a year, all you should need is this and send in the money.
Shit, I don't know. On CalArc, it says, yeah, anyhow, that's what I'm doing. Well, thanks for the class, Brian.
Hey, you bet. Sounds good.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. So everyone get in the test?
No, not yet.
No.
Okay,
Like I said, the easiest thing to do is open up the chat and just click on the link.
Let's see.
I'm in, but you start off with home.
Did you put
No.
059 or 069?
I put 069 UT069.
Let me see.
Yeah, it should be networks are used on modern vehicles for which of the following reasons is the first question.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, how does it know it's me? Or that's at the end of the test.
Oh, that's why you're using the answer sheet. You're going to fill out the answer sheet.
Got it. Okay, yeah, yeah.
And then that's where you email it to me.
Yeah. Okay. All right, cool.
All righty.
Thank you, Brian.
You bet. Thank
I
you.
mean- All right. Thank you, Ryan.
Hey, you bet. Good seeing you.
Good to see you.
Shit.
Hey, Ryan.
Yeah,
Say hi, Rich.
I will.
Thank you.
You bet.
So from here, you just say can leave.
Yeah, you can leave me and you're in the test. Have a great rest of your day.
Okay. All right.
I don't
Thank
need to sit here and watch you do it. It's open book.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Good to see you again.
All righty.
Hey, Brian,
Yes.
so I just copy the link and sign up right there. How do I copy the link?
Well, the link is in the chat. Did you open the chat?
Let me see. The chat. Okay,
So
Yeah.
you see where you have the link in the chat?
okay.
Just click on it with your left mouse button.
Oh, then I have to write in. Let me see it. I don't see the link right here.
Yep, it's the second to last thing in the chat, right before my email.
Oh, they have to type it in, huh?
How did I open the link?
Well,
Yeah, when you move the mouse up to the link of the chat, it's gonna turn it into a hand, so you could do it. You just use the left mouse, and it'll click it. It'll open it.
where the link is. Let me,
Your chat box. Let me see if it'll share here. Yep.
I have to write.
Chat box looks like this. When you move your mouse up to the link, it turns into a hand. Push the left mouse button, and it'll open the test. And you can save it to your computer by clicking here and save chat, and it'll save all to the computer, all the chat.
Where
Yeah, just move it up where it turns into an arrow, click the left mouse button, and you should be right into the test at that point.
What happened?
You said the left mouse click.
Yeah, so move up to
Cái
it
màu này cho bà cái
and then click the left button on the mouse.
lấy cái màu này qua cho bà để bà qua cái link. Bà lấy cái link nào? Bà sao bà link nó qua cái bên kia này bên cái chat.
Oh, we got the IT support now.
IT support. Yeah, I just find my daughter help me out.
I see that. I always see the sons and daughters when it's test time. Yep. So that's the link. You just send it back to me. All you got to do is move your mouse up so it looks like an arrow, left click the mouse, and what it'll do is open up the test, just like that.
Those 35 questions.
35 questions.
Okay. There's no time to answer the questions.
No time limit. Just have it to me by about 6 tomorrow morning.
All right. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
Hello.
You got it now, Hi?
Oh yeah, I got it.
Good.
Thank you.
You bet. So everyone's got it now. Everybody have a great day. You got it, right, Pablo?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
bet. You guys have a great rest of your day. Glad you enjoyed the
too.
class.
Sure.